Hello and welcome to the Tongue of the Trees channel. I'm Elizabeth Ashley, the Secret Healer, and today we're talking about what is grapefruit essential oil for. We're talking about the emotional side. More importantly, perhaps, we're talking about the safety side, because although it's a fantastic oil to use to make yourself feel better, it is quite a difficult oil that does have quite a lot of contraindications. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk for a little while about the emotional, the mental, the spiritual faculties, because in some ways they all meld into one, don't they? And then I'll show you some slides. So don't worry about writing any notes, because you'll see them all flash up before your very eyes. And then I'm going to show you a layout of the Tongue of the Trees cards. Obviously this project is about the cards that we sell. And whilst the spread that I'll show you doesn't show you grapefruit in detail, it will tell you a little bit about how the cards work and about the knowledge base that you can buy to go with them too. And then we will look at the safety, and then finally we're going to hop on over to Hungary and talk to the maestro and ask him a little bit about how he uses grapefruit essential oil. And personally, that's my favourite because I am learning loads from that. So let's start though, thinking about grapefruit. Now I have to tell you, the one I've got, I didn't think it was that old, but immediately I can smell that the aldehydes have gone and the monoterpenes are starting to corrode. The oxidization is getting to this bottle. I need to get a new one because kind of the sunshine's going out of it a little bit. It's lost its, you know, when they're starting to go, you can kind of, when they're vibrant, you can feel them at the top of your nose, but you can feel that the volatiles are not moving quite as quickly. And so you haven't got that sharpness. You know how when you cut into especially a blood grapefruit, you can hit, that has gone out of this bottle, which is a shame because I do like grapefruit very much. And it's, what's the key word? What have we written? Confidence. You couldn't get any closer actually. Simple word, but it is. It's just bouncing your stride. And I always think the energetic medicine, we'll talk about that a lot more in depth in the knowledge base if you decide to go and have a look at that. But sometimes things pop out at you that are really, really obvious. And the first thing is that the things that are yellow tend to vibrate on yellow as well. And that is the colour of the solar plexus chakra. So if we think about the solar plexus chakra for on a physical level, we think about things like diabetes, digestion, stomach complaints generally. It's kind of this area really. Your solar plexus chakra vibrates between the solar plexus just under the sternum and the navel. And anything that exists within there really falls under solar plexus. But in terms of the energy of the actual personality of it, it's about willpower and confidence and identity, who you feel in this lifetime. And yeah, there's I don't know if you'll have it in America. We have it in England. I think it's a brand called Barocca. Have these vitamin tablets. And they have like lumberjacks dancing on top of their logs on the river, and their slogan is "It's you, but on a good day." Well, that's what grapefruit is. It really is. And it's like, I am completely on top of my game, and come on, come and get me, you know. And I always have this before meetings because I'm a bit of a strange creature, which is, people go, you're talking rubbish, but I am quite shy. And so I'm all right doing this kind of stuff because I had a whole lifetime of learning how to act upon the stage. I was a dancer and a singer, and so this is easy to me. But if I meet you face to face, you'll find I am not quite as confident. I'm a little bit more reserved. I have to think very carefully before I speak, and I blush a lot and I giggle a lot, and I'm just not as confident. But if you put me on the phone, so I use this to kind of make me a bit more on the phone. Really, I know the comebacks. Just don't like people looking at me, which is a strange thing to say when I live my life on video, but I don't. So so we're obviously confident, you know, and this is a great oil for teenagers. It's a great oil for, you know what, going back to work after you've had kids, because it's kind of got a similar vibration in a way to Cyprus, that it stabilizes you through change. But I think Cyprus is more turmoil change. This is like, right, let's deal with, you know, stepping up kind of thing, you know, not difficult transition. This is moving forward kind of stuff. And who doesn't need confidence, you know? It's lovely, lovely, lovely. I mean, on the slide it says mood enhancer, and that's such a non-word, isn't it? But it really is. Just smelling it here, even without, you know, even as it's starting to go off, I can feel myself going and my brain is getting faster. I can feel that my thoughts are coming more easily. Yeah, sluggish brain. I mean, do you have that sometimes? I don't know. I definitely have that, where some days I'm just like, oh, I can't be bothered to think about it. Please don't make me think about it. Okay, I'll tell you of it more often than I am admitting to. I quite often say, oh no, don't make me think about this. I've got enough things on my mind. I don't want to think about this. But Grapefruit goes, there is room. Fit it in. We can get it in our stride. Brings in sunshine when you're feeling gloomy, and I feel sure that Gagley will say sunshine when he does his blending, because he does think in the same way. And just optimism and confidence that things are going to go well. Spring in your step. You know, there's nothing really in depth about that at all. What I will tell you is just a little snippet from the knowledge base. It's got interesting energetic medicine actually, but one of the elements that it works on is the wood element, how the energy shifts through the body in Chinese medicine, how it invigorates qi, calms shen, etc, etc. Wood, what does wood mean? Well, wood is anger, you know, and stress, and its organs are the liver and the gallbladder, and liver and gallbladder in particular at times of stress struggle, you know. If you have times where you have prolonged stress, the adrenal glands struggle to be able to make enough hormones to be able to keep up with the stress demand. So they draw from the liver as a support mechanism. So the liver then becomes dysfunctional. We probably talked about this in the physical. I don't even remember, but probably we did. But wood medicine really supports the liver and gallbladder. And so if somebody's showing a lot of anger, or they seem very stressed, they shout a lot, then that is good indication of a wood imbalance. And we use grapefruit, and actually, yeah, that'd stop me shouting. It would. It'd make me feel like the sun had come out. Beautiful. So have a look at the slides now, and then have a look at the spread just to see how these cards work, and tells you a bit more about the knowledge base. And I'm going to tell you, when you get to the blending, notice something, right? When I do this, it's back to front, isn't it? When Gagley does it, it's the right way round. I don't know why. It's beginning to start annoying me, really. But enjoy that strange phenomenon. So, yeah, we're going to go slides, blend it, slides, layout, safety, and then we'll be over to the blending. So I'll see you in a little while to talk about the safety. run through a quick layout for you to show you the different cards. Now, one of the things that we're not going to tell you in this video, in these videos, is the poem that goes with the cards. But for this layout, we will read them to you just so that you get a chance to sort of feel how the different poems look. So I thought I'd show you the cards. As you can see, lovely little box. I'll show you the other side. Boring stuff, except for cool stuff what I read. Okay, so if we open it up, we can see that the cards just have one logo on, and that is because these originally were Gegle's cards. He's been selling these for a long time in Hungary. Mostly they've been bought by kinesiologists, interestingly enough. They've been doing the energy work with them. They haven't got any aromatherapy background, but they've been able to tap into the energetics of the oils to be able to move emotional blockages. So let's show you. So these come out nice and easy because we've got beautiful little ribbons. And let's get rid of that. So if I said to the cards, what energy do I need? What oils will help me do the best job with these videos? Let's have a... Now, my friend Belinda used these the other day, and she does have a habit of shuffling them the wrong way. So we'll have to hope that they're all the way right up. I'm not doing a good job of keeping them that way. So let's have a look. What do I need to do a great job? So I think, it's up to you how you do it, but I think cut it 3 ways, cut it back. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So first 3 cards off the top. Cedarwood Virginian. I'll tell you why I'm laughing at that in a minute. Got rose and lavender. That's a beautiful blend, isn't it? Reason why I was laughing about a Cedarwood Virginian is when Gegle and I came to do the notes of all the different cards, we both went, oh, we've done these cards for Cedarwood Virginian and I don't really know how to explain them differently. And because I was doing lots of editing work, I went, oh, just leave it. So yesterday I did a meditation with Cedarwood Virginian and got the most beautiful, beautiful work out of it. So you must tap into that tomorrow, have a listen to that video and see it was really different stuff that came out. So let's have a look. So if we go to the book, we can see that there's a brown streak on cedarwood, and that tells us it's the woods. So we find the woods. Slowly but surely we find the woods. At the back. Okay, so I'm going to use the other cards just to cover up the other pages, because you know what? Sooner or later you're going to have to pay me for something. So, Cedarwood Virginian. Actually, I'll show you this, but I'll read it to you because I'm hoping that it doesn't turn back to front on you, but it may well do. So, Cedarwood Virginian says, hold strong. Don't be swayed by the winds of change around you. Stand tall. Resist the temptation to listen as the naysayers surround you. Keep focused on the job you have in hand. Remain strategic. Don't veer from tactics you've planned. Listen intently to information on the breeze. Remain determined. Your courage is what makes me pleased. Hold strong. Don't be swayed by the winds of change around you. Stand tall. Resist the temptation to listen as the naysayers surround you. Keep focused on the job you have in hand. Remain strategic. Don't veer from tactics you've planned. Listen intently to information on the breeze. Remain determined. Your courage is what makes me pleased. And I'd forgotten, I stopped halfway through because I'd forgotten this is the only one that went like a round. It kept repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating. And that taps in beautifully to the determination, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm keeping on reminding you. I'm keeping on reminding you. I'm keeping on reminding you. So, and actually, definitely watch the video on Cedarwood Virginian, because you'll see just how spooky that is when you see the meditation work I did. Now, you'll also see on here at the bottom of the page, there's the energetics. Now, we're not going to talk about these energetics at all in the video. You might want to go and buy our knowledge base. Now, the knowledge base is completely based on this, and it is a set of lessons on each of the aspects. So middle to base, you're going to hear about that today when Gergely does his blending, so that's there. It also vibrates on the throat chakra. So what does that mean? Within the knowledge base, there is a complete set of information about the different chakras. We do as a lecture on each different chakra, how it affects on the emotional body, how it affects the physical body, how it affects the mental and spiritual bodies, and how that's working. So when we're looking at the knowledge base, this information here describes how the energies move through the system. What energy shift has taken place that we are getting these different physical problems and mental issues. So we can see that cedarwood Virginian operates on the water element and the earth element. And again, in the knowledge base, there's a complete section about, we talk about the about half an hour about the water element, then again about half an hour for the earth element, metal, fire, and whatever the other one is, gone out of my head. And then here we can see Sagittarius. Now, so that tells us that what planetary rulership it comes under. This is medical astrology, and this is actually how I see the different energetics playing out. Some people see it through the Ayurvedic, some people see it through Chinese medicine. This is always the lens I see it through. And usually we'll talk about how it's ruled by the moon or the sun or Saturn and the different trends that we see out. And when we look at an archetype like that, it's like, Jade Shoots always says, it's like a metaphor, and that's a great analogy of how you can see the thread playing out right across the medicine. And so you can see that cedarwood Virginian is Sagittarius. So in the knowledge base, we talk about the different signs and planets and also the different houses. If I remember right, Angelica, for example, falls under the Pisces Aries cusp. So that's really quite a difficult one to understand. There's a whole lesson about the Pisces Aries cusp. And then again, Chinese medicine, it nourishes yin. What does that mean? What does it mean? It calms Shen. Shen is an interesting phenomenon all in its own right. It's the consciousness, our mental faculties, our imagination, our emotions, God with a small g, God with a big G. All of those aspects is a complete lesson about Shen and how the essential oils can affect it and change that to move the energy. And then we can see increases Pitta, reduces Vata, balances Kapha. So it's interesting, actually. I do know at the moment all of my oils tend to come out with earth energy. It's quite interesting hearing me do the earth energy lecture because it's entirely about the challenges I am facing at the moment. But if you are somebody who sells essential oils and you're looking for a way in all of the time, right? You're talking to the person at the school gate, for example, and you can see, she seems a healthy girl, to be honest. She's loving her kids, she seems happy. Imagine somebody who's got a really sing-song voice all the time. Oh, my darling, how did you get on today? Was it lovely? I know. And then child walks off. How are you? To everybody. If that sing-song voice never quite relents, then you can imagine that there's an earth energy imbalance. So any oils that fall under earth energy are good ones to sell. So yeah, if you are interested in learning more about that, ways in, just kind of being able to see, talking to somebody, what might be clues of what's going on of that energetic shift, then head over the knowledge base to have a look at that. So what was our next card? It was Rose, wasn't it? Queen of Roses, as you know. I do love my roses. Let's have a look. So the flowers, I think, are at the front of the book, if I remember rightly. Beautiful pink. Oh, we're both flowers, aren't they? So rose, rose, rose. Damask Rose. I was thinking we'd miss Rose out, but it's not under D for Rose. It's under, sorry, it's not R for Rose, it's D for Damask Rose. I remember writing this one, actually. This is quite sad. So it says, standing by your graveside or sobbing into your pillow, I know your pain. On the days when you feel lonely, worried or sad, I know your pain. Through the nights where sleep seems far away and you feel like you might break, amidst the anger, the confusion and desolation, I feel your pain. For I was there, remember? When you smelled the roses of their love as your fingertips stroked my petals and tried to avoid the prick of thorn. I felt your hopes, your fears, your joy of deep connection. I ensnared it in my scent to help conjure that affection. In my fragrance, remember hope. Let my aroma you complete. May scent of celebration heal you, calm you and help you sleep. For through me you are never alone, always loved and open to give and receive more. Smell me, open up and feel safe to feel love once more. Now I anticipate that these will be different for everybody, but that's entirely my dad talking to me. I feel quite choked up reading that, actually. When he died, he gave me a rose bush. My cousin works for a rose bush company, David Austin Roses. I'm sure you've heard of them. He's quite a senior manager there, and Dad arranged for a rose called Noble Anthony to be given to me and my sisters at the funeral. So I go and sit and talk to the rose bush. That's a great reminder that my dad's with me today. So that actually, Dad, that really helps. Thank you. So let's have a look at the energetics. We can see middle heart chakra, obviously. Water. Now, again, as I say, in the knowledge base, there is a much bigger lecture on water. But the energy of water is how it can flow around any obstacle and find a way to fill the space. So that's great. That's lovely. And Venus is obviously the planet of love, but there's lots more to do with beauty and money, actually. It's an interesting lecture on Venus. I like talking about Venus. Balance is Vata, Pitta and Kapha. If you don't know, Vata is very drying, Pitta is hot and fiery and moist, and Kapha is sluggish. So it brings it all into alignment. But in the knowledge base, as I say, different lectures on each of those. So it nourishes the blood. Well, I've got funny blood, actually, so that's useful to know, Dad. Thank you. Yin and essence. So yin is the feminine aspect. It's very gentle and passive and receptive, and it harmonizes the heart and Shen. We just talked about Shen. So we're going to put all these in a blend in a minute. And so last but not least, the cards have told me that I should go for lavender, which I guess is probably just over the page. Still in the pinks, as you can see. Oh, I remember this one too. Cover them up, cover them up. Can you see? There we go. Lavender's blue, dilly dilly, lavender's green. When you breathe me, dilly dilly, softly you dream. Anger and grief, dilly dilly, softly drift by. Worries and hurts, dilly dilly, kiss them goodbye. When you feel tense, dilly dilly, look for the bees. See how they buzz, dilly dilly, resting with ease. Learn from their hum, dilly dilly, for they all know. Learning to rest, dilly dilly, helps you to grow. Breathe in the scent, dilly dilly, lavender's light. Calm your stressed mind, honey, honey, surrender the fight. Release cares and worries, dilly dilly, I help you to see. Life is so good, dilly dilly, just let it be. Okay, I'm going to let them flow, not force them. This helps, this really helps, you know. I've got to tell you, when I was helping Gerglade do this, he was sending me his notes, and every time they came across it, I was like, oh my goodness, I've got to do the cards. These are really hard. Didn't like my poems at all. Really found them difficult to do, and really, I just wanted to be writing my Melissa book, which I kind of still do, but I'm feeling a bit happier. Now I've got the cards in my hands and I can see them because they really help. Honestly, they really, really help. So, and of course I might be biased because it's my words talking back to me, but hearing the plant and seeing it written down, it's very, very helpful. So, actually I've probably skipped the most valuable part of the process for speed. But when you turn out your cards, if you have got the oils, I would sit and breathe the oil as you read the poem. And that's very difficult to do on this camera like this, but because then you will really hear, you'll have that connection with the plant. It will open it up to you. So top to middle note, as I say, Glay's going to talk to us about the blending. Water, we've just talked about how that finds ways, effortlessly finds gaps to do things, doesn't force it, just gets around any obstacle. Heart chakra again. Mercury, communication, data, information. Yeah, that's very mercurial medicine. We'll talk about that. I know there's a very interesting lecture about Mercury. I originally wrote the Mercury ropes for the pain practitioner program. And so these are quite detailed lectures, about half an hour long, the medical astrology ones, because of course that's my passion. Neutral to cool is the action. Yeah, cooling like the roses. Activates chi. Now again, we'll talk about chi in the knowledge base, but basically it's the life force. You know how we said we talked about Shen? Well, if Shen doesn't have adequate chi forcing it through, then it becomes disrupted. And I always think about it feeling like you're treading water. So the activation of chi calms Shen or nourishes Shen or raises Shen, depending on which essential oil it is. It aggravates Vata. So yes, this is one of my favourite nags. So the world tells you to put lavender essential oil into every massage oil, into your moisturiser, into your bath. So it aggravates Vata, people. It will dry you out. That is how you get dry skin. Aggravates Vata, makes you a bit vapid, a bit dreamy. So all of the time you're like the dreamers that wander around on a cloud. If you're not careful, too much lavender makes you that. Pacifies kapha, so it stops you feeling sluggish, stops you feeling heavy. It's not really directly indicated for constipation, but that shift of energy through kapha would release not only constipation, but congestion in the sinuses. And pacifies pitta. Well, pitta is hot, so it's calming. It reduces inflammation. Anything that's red, hot, angry, it'll calm it down. So there we go. So first, I've got my smelly stick. And really, this is only because then I can stick it down my top and you won't be able to see it. So we could use aroma pendant, we could use massage oil, sniffy sticks, whatever. This is just what works for me, and that's the most important thing, that it's the thing that works for you. So cedarwood Virginian is a fast oil, if I remember rightly. So this is quite a thin distillation. Ooh. And then we'll mop up everything off the table. Dip it up, wipe it up. Oh, it's so beautiful, it's smoky. It's beautiful, and I can tell you the lecture is about tapping into your ancestral line, and given that my ancestral line is full of wizards and witches, that's very helpful. Lots of plant healers coming to my aid. So a bit of lavender. Warm the bottle. You'll notice I cover the thing. It's not because I'm covering the labels, although it's because I can't be bothered going, don't ask me which oils I use, but it's more because it's very cold in this shed, so things get stiff, especially myrrh. Goodness me, when we come to do the myrrh video, I have to warm it up 3 weeks before. And then beautiful rose. Look at the colour of that. Beautiful. It's my favourite bit, you know, was it waiting for it to come out, just seeing the colour. Have I got the nerve to let it drop? I have. Go on, mix, 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 blend. You know, whenever I try and do videos, I always want to have the image of oils mixing, and it nobody ever quite videos that effectively. I think it would be beautiful. Look at that. Oh my goodness, that is sheer heaven. Just beautiful. So yeah, if you obviously want to buy the cards, there's a link underneath that tells you where to get them from. But also, if you want to use the knowledge base, there's a link through to that too. And goodness me, when you start to smell that and you feel all the knowledge base opening up all the different shifts in the body and how they move and how they're executing through the physical body, it's really extraordinary. It's a whole new layer to plant medicine. So there we go. That is how to do the blending. Can't wait for you to watch Gerdlo talk about proper blending in a minute. Was that helpful? I think you're really going to enjoy using the cards. So I hope that you do. Click on the link below and buy them, but also access the knowledge base, because it brings a completely new dimension to using the oils. But now let's think about the safety for grapefruit essential oil. And if you're an oils rep, please focus on this, because it's one of those oils that causes the most amount of problems. It's an easy oil to sell, because when you go, how does that make you feel? It makes you feel sunshine. Yeah, there's a few things. So first of all, let's talk about phototoxicity. We talked about this a little bit when we were thinking about bergamot oil. Because it's pressed from the rind of a fruit rather than distillation, the chemistry in the oil is slightly different, and there's certain lipids in there that can cause irritation when they're exposed to sunlight. I'll tell you a story about this in a minute. And so this is phototoxicity, that it can make it go blotchy, but also it can really make it sore or tingle and kind of be like major league sunburn. So we avoid direct sunlight for I say 12, but probably around about 24 hours really after using grapefruit essential oil. So I mean, this is kind of touching on the same thing as we said about bergamot essential oil. It's the sunshine. It just is. The more sunshine there is in an essential oil, the less you need it on your body. That's the weirdness of it. And also, this oil now, I was talking about how it had become a little bit decayed, it had oxidized over time. I won't use this on my skin now, because this is a high risk of skin sensitivity. Grapefruit in particular can be a beast for that. So immediately when I get off here today, I will put in a new order for grapefruit essential oil. Now, this is one of the oils that I have to be very careful with, because I mentioned in the other videos I have a dodgy lung. I have a dodgy lung because I have dodgy blood. So if you are on any kind of blood medications, you need to think very hard about using grapefruit essential oil. So let me run through in particular. If you have a platelet disorder, that means that your blood does not clot very well. You know, things like haemophilia, but there's lots of different platelet disorders, isn't there? If your blood, if you have thin blood that doesn't clot very well, please do not use grapefruit essential oil topically. Likewise, if you are on certain HIV medications, this does work on the calcium channels, which is the same as the HIV-1 kind of medications, and it will contraindicate with your drugs. Please talk to your doctor about using it before using it, just for him to go specifically into your brand to make sure. So in terms of blood medications, we're talking things like heparin, warfarin, clexane, and enoxaparin. And if you are HIV, just please do check with your specialist. Doctors have a special book that will be able to, it ties in with Robert Tisserand's work, and they look at specific drug and see if it works on the same thing, whether there's a positive or negative interaction. So HIV, definitely go and have a look. Just to clarify that, if you are, if you do feel you want to use the emotional aspects of it, this isn't going to do that much difference to your drugs, you know. Just breathing it is not going to cause you that much problem. But then even slice a grapefruit, breathe it. You know, it's the same medicine, isn't it? So yeah. Is it safe in pregnancy? Yes, it is, after 16 weeks. Oh, I was going to tell you a little story, wasn't I, about the phototoxicity. So when I first started working in aromatherapy, I worked in the family business for a long time before I qualified and did my studies. And we were making a cellulite blend. And actually, if you buy the cards, the poem about the grapefruit mentions about a cellulite blend and how good it is for toning the cellulite. And so I'd use this, and I tried it all out. But what I didn't tell anybody, because I knew it was a bit of a stupid thing to do anyway, look at the colour of my skin, right? When I was a kid, somebody actually wrote in the dirt on a wagon, Lizzie is an albino. I am so pale. Now this is me tanned, right? So I decided I was going to go on a sunbed, but I knew nobody was going to be very happy about it because skin cancer, right? So I didn't tell anybody. So I'd use this cellulite cream, and it was like a massage oil and like a toning gel that we'd made. And then the next day I went on the sunbed. Now I have to tell you, I would think it was probably more than 24 hours. Oh my God. The next morning I woke up and I was like prickling all over my legs, right? And so we're going back to late 1980s, early 1990s. And the buses in England then used to have this like spiky velvet Draylon horribleness on the chairs. I couldn't sit down. And it was an hour and a half bus ride to where I'd got to go back to work. I couldn't sit down. I was like all over me because I had had this reaction to grapefruit on the sunbed, which I'll never do either again. I will never forget about phototoxicity, and I'll never go on a sunbed ever again. So there we go. It happens to all of us. Nobody is exempt. Please watch your phototoxicity. Right, so the other thing is it safe for kids and babies? Yeah, I reckon you shouldn't really use aromatherapy, I don't think, on a baby's skin before that they are 6 months old anyway. But if you're only using 1% dilution, I can't see any problem with that at all. Although I have to say, why would you? I can't think of an indication where you would want to give a child grapefruit essential oil, to be honest. You know, if I had tummy problems, chamomile would be better. There's enough sunshine in most kids, isn't it? And if there's not, then inhaling them is better. However, pussycats are have negative responses to all types of grapefruit in all forms. So they shouldn't eat it. Although, to be fair, they don't really like it anyway, but they shouldn't. Now, if you're using it in your diffuser, I can't see there's going to be a problem, but watch the cat. If it starts drooling or starts to look a bit ill, get rid of that diffuser and put something else in right now. Dogs, however, as far as I know, they don't mind it. Yeah, straightforward stuff. So that is the safety of grapefruit essential oil. Yeah, so let's look at the slides and then I'll send you over to Hungary and you can go and learn about blending grapefruit essential oil.
Hello, this is Gary again, and today I'm going to talk about grapefruit. Look at that beautiful drawing, and the keyword is confidence. So grapefruit is a citrus, one of the citruses that we cover in our 56 cards, tongue of the tree cards. Did you know that grapefruit, in fact, the predecessor of grapefruit, or the plant that they hybridized grapefruit from, originates from Asia. And it was called the shaddock fruit. The reason is because Captain Shaddock took it from Asia. In fact, the seeds he took from Asia to the Caribbean islands, where they hybridized the plant. And the original plant that Captain Shaddock took from Asia was called Citrus grandis, and the synonym for that is Citrus maxima, or commonly known as pomelo. I'm sure you know pomelo is the big citrus, right? You can buy it in the stores. So basically, when you go to the store and then you look for essential oils, then you will find, and many companies, they sell different grapefruit oil under the name of yellow grapefruit or under the name of pink or red grapefruit. Basically, same plant, a little bit different fruits. But the difference is not only in the appearance of the fruit. One, the yellow is yellow outside, obviously, and if you cut it in half, then it's the flesh is yellow. Whereas the other one, which is the pink grapefruit, is actually pink outside, or pinkish, orangish pinkish, and then if you cut it, then it's going to be this red flesh. The difference, one, the yellow is sweeter than the pink, and it's I think it's much sweeter than the pink grapefruit. And the pink grapefruit has that a little bit tart, a little bit how would I say, like that kind of oozing feeling, right? The oozing feeling, as they say in all those advertisements. So the oozing feeling, and in the mornings, sometimes I make freshly squeezed fruit juice, and I usually use pink grapefruit, oranges, a little bit of lemon, and mandarins, obviously. And then we come back to that when we are talking about blending. So, what do we blend grapefruit with? What do I suggest? What do you think would be the most convenient? Would be citrus oils that I was talking about, the freshly squeezed fruit juice. So, for example, oranges, mandarins, lime, even bergamot, that can add to that oozing feeling of pink grapefruit. So when you blend, then you always have to take in mind that yellow and pink are different essential oils, because one is sweeter, the other one is more tart and oozing, as I love this word. Okay, so let's give you another couple of suggestions. How about that we blend grapefruit with lavender, true lavender, or lavandin? Lavandin, a little bit different. Lavandin having a bit more, or actually a bit camphor. True lavender, so grapefruit, lavender. How about peppermint? You could also use peppermint, but you could also use spearmint. I prefer peppermint with grapefruit, but some people like spearmint with grapefruit. Then you could also use some of the florals like geranium, or even I would go for ylang ylang, but you could also use clary sage. You could also use ginger and grapefruit, very classic. But it all goes well with frankincense, also goes well with palmarosa. And if I mention palmarosa, then you can also mention lemongrass, because they are kind of similar, obviously different essential oils. More, Indian lemongrass is more refined, which, Indian, which mean like East Indian or West Indian, and it doesn't matter, or palmarosa. But it also goes well with black pepper. And finally, I would probably list most of the eucalyptus species. So like the blue gum, or the lemon-scented eucalyptus, or you could use the broad-leaved peppermint, which is Eucalyptus dives, but you could use Eucalyptus radiata as well. So if I set your mind for a little sunshine, then I would suggest you to go for grapefruit and try all these other great combination of essential oils. And I hope that you find it useful, and I'll see you next time.
Absolutely love that, Gergley. Wasn't that lovely? I really enjoyed watching that. It's so nice to see somebody else's ideas of what to blend together. A couple of those blends I would never have thought of, so I'm excited to have a go. So we're nearly at the end. Just want to very quickly tell you a little bit about the people we've chosen to sell our oils for us. Fragrant Earth are the first company to support us. They're based in Glastonbury, which is the most mystical of places in England, and they have been operating as an essential oil supplier for over 40 years. They supply some of the most beautiful skincare houses in the world, really. When you go into their showroom and you see the places that have used their oils, you realise what good quality products they have, and they very kindly agreed to distribute the Tongues of the Trees cards for us. If you have a look in the below, you'll see a link to buy them. What I'd also say to you is, if we have made you fall in love with this essential oil, they can also send that out to you, and they are beautiful, beautiful oils. And of course you'll save yourself some shipping too, probably. What I will say is, just for transparency, Gergley and I will earn a commission off that sale. So if you decide to buy from that, not only do you get yourself a beautiful oil, it's a lovely way to say thank you to us for the information that we've given you. But hopefully, most important, get your Tongue of the Trees cards. You will not find a more satisfying way of using the essential oils. So thank you for being with us today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Dexter's going to tell you how in a moment, and hopefully we'll see you on the next video.
You get your phone, and turn it this way up, and then there's a little red subscribe button. Turn it grey by clicking it, and then there's a little bell. Click that and press all at the bottom of your phone or tablet or computer. It will say you will receive all notifications. and then there's a little hand with a thumbs up. Click that, it'll turn it blue and it says added to your liked videos, and there will be comments, and if you want to you can send a comment and say like hi's to Mum and Gergely, and then the link to the next video will be in the description below underneath the video. So bye.